Hi everyone. In one of my recent drive and fail episodes, a number of people pointed out in one particular clip that I was too close to the vehicle in front. It was the lady who was in lane 3 on the motorway on a mobile phone. Now, yes I was, but I'm going to try and do a little bit of an explanation today about why I decided to do that. It was a purposeful choice, and as always, there's reasons behind doing what I do. You should stay no closer than 2 seconds behind someone when following. But there are certain situations as a communication that you may need to tweak that, but there are plenty of conditions. Now, I'm on the way to Alton Park. I'm doing a little bit of filming with Simon. We're filming a podcast here today. We're also watching some of the racing that's going on. But on the way, I've taken a longer route. I'm not going through Widnes and over the Runcorn Bridge. I'm staying on the motorway because I'm going to see whether there's any scenarios that I can replicate to then explain what I did and why. Like with any of our actions, with position and speed, you can communicate with other people. I was watching the BMW out in lane 3, staying out there, and I was watching them closely to see whether they were showing any signs of coming back. And I haven't got my rear camera on. I've been away. One of my sons got married in Cyprus. I've only been back a day or so. So that's been one of the delays in me getting the rear camera sorted. I will do over the next little bit, I promise you. But read a story, tell a story. It's super important. And I'm always doing it. I'm always communicating. Even this scenario, we've got a van coming past to my right-hand side, and I made certain that I wasn't catching the lorry at the front at the point where the van was going to be overtaking me. So I'm actually fine-tuning everything. Even here, although the lorry shouldn't come into lane 3, but I just held back just until I knew there was nothing coming out from the slit road to the left-hand side, just in case the lorry needed an escape route. So I'm constantly tweaking what I do to communicate. And that's effectively all that went on in the clip. Now, you shouldn't be closer than 2 seconds, but think of that scenario. Could I see really well in front? Yes, I could. If I just stay behind at 2 seconds with that woman who I didn't know at the time was on a mobile phone, if I just stay behind at 2 seconds and there was no one in front of her, she wasn't catching the vehicle in lane 2, and don't forget we were out in lane 3, that lady may think, don't have to move back, no one wishes to overtake. So that is the reason behind it. It's a clear communication, but there are only certain times where I will do it. I need to know what's happening far in front. And I could see from where I was what was happening beyond the lady in that vehicle. I could also see there was no one she was overtaking, therefore she should be moving back to the left. And I'll look at that closely. If someone's even slightly catching the vehicle that's in lane 2 when they're in lane 3, say nothing. It has to be obvious. And I'd been travelling behind that particular lady for a little while. So it was time to just show her exactly what I was planning to do and what she should do to a certain extent. People did also notice that I had my hand cupped around my lights and I was ready to flash. That's exactly what they're there for. Not sure why people were a little triggered with that. It's exactly what they're for. Is there an issue with, I'm just getting past this Fiesta, pushed up to 74 on my speedo there, and now I'm a touch close. But look, rear camera, I'm off out into lane 3 because I was catching this one. But that Fiesta came out behind me. So I'm constantly reading what people are doing in relation to others and altering what's going on. When I did that, did I get closer than 2 seconds? Yes. Will I just do it in the same scenario that the lorry driver's doing it here? No. But is that similar? Is that the lorry driver saying move back to the left? Perhaps. But if there's people coming on the left-hand side, and there's another caravan there, the lorry driver's wrong in that situation. So there's a clear distinction between when you should communicate that and when you shouldn't. Just heading off onto the motorway, so I'll tuck it back in. So yeah, the flash of the lights, there's no better time to say to people, I'm here. It's not a reprimand. It is a way of saying effectively, I'm here. Are you doing the correct things? Here, I've backed right off. I'm all the way off the pedals. I'm a touch close. The downhill section, they've slowed a little in front. Maybe their car slows a little bit more than mine. The newer cars do tend to roll a little bit quicker. There's less rolling resistance, and that's for fuel economy. I do find that sometimes that I'll end up being a little closer. Do I want to always jump on my brakes and then warn people when they don't need warning? No. So there may be certain times that I'll tweak the distances. On the clip, some people say I was about 0.6 of a second. I'm not going to agree or disagree. I haven't even looked at it. That was a little close. Hold my hands up. Shouldn't really be pushing anywhere near that, but in that particular situation at that particular time, although it was closer than 2 seconds, it was still safe. I had options back to my left also. So that's my reasoning behind it. I'm going to keep the camera rolling, and I'm going to look for a scenario to see whether I can demonstrate something similar a little bit further up. Some people will do that, and that close the space down in this situation because they don't understand the potential dangers of moving back to the left with the slip road coming out. Because you'll move back to the left here fully to lane 1, someone will force past and then you've got nowhere to go, so you're effectively shutting your own door. Range Rover is the one to the left hand side. I'm just squeezing a couple of miles an hour out of this as well, so I'm up to 74 on my speedo, but look what it did. It made the Range Rover merge behind me as opposed to next to me. And I'll constantly alter what I do to communicate and to keep safe. We might get a situation here. I often find this on this stretch, but unfortunately, the Mercedes has shown some good lane discipline. Often you'll get people in lane 2 here, and then could move back. Let's see whether there's anyone a bit further up, seeing whether the police Volvo's coming in. He is. Nice judgment of speed from the police officer. All fine. Let's have a little look at the van up in lane 2. Perfect. Is this our opportunity? The Range Rover's also catching me behind, although you won't be able to see it. But we are catching the van. I'm doing 70 miles an hour exactly. And there's no one to the left. So I'm catching. I'm going to have a little flash of my lights. And perfect. So to all the people, thank you, sir. So to all the people who take a flash of the lights as aggressive, honestly, that's a perfect scenario. Obviously slowing down now with the matrix sign saying 40, there's a slow in traffic. It didn't get me very far, that overtake, but at least I was able to demonstrate it. Just remember don't do that, van, just stay where you are. Oh. Rather queue early and break a law. I'm just going to drive past them. In any case, that was a good example. I was catching for a while. If the van driver was really switched on, they would have seen me coming and should have moved back. They showed some good driving in the end, but do you notice at the time and the distance that I did it and the scenario? Was I a little closer? Maybe a little touch than 2 seconds in the end by the time that the van moved over. But notice where I did the flash as well as I was approaching. Just makes them aware, lets them see what you're doing, and the van driver did a great job. So was there a mistake by me? No, there's no mistake. It was purposefully done. I'm not saying it's something that you should do. I'm just going to thank this guy behind. Thank you, sir. But it is all about communication and using communication in a positive way. It's not about aggression. Please, if you think of someone closing a little bit of your space down when you should be moving back to the left is aggressive, it's maybe you who needs a little bit of a head wobble. Keep safe, everyone. I'll see you soon.